the house was quiet. The baby slept peacefully in his crib when suddenly, at exactly 3 a.m., the family's German Shepherd did something unthinkable. He crept into the nursery, grabbed the child by his pajamas, and began dragging him out of the house. The parents woke in terror. The mother screamed, convinced their loyal dog had suddenly turned dangerous and that their baby was in grave danger. But just minutes later, the shocking truth was revealed, and what the dog was really doing left everyone speechless. Before we begin, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And I'm truly curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The night was calm, the kind of stillness that wrapped the small neighborhood in comfort. Inside a cozy home, the young couple slept soundly, their baby resting peacefully in a crib just a few steps away. The only sounds were the faint hum of the ceiling fan and the soft rhythm of a child's breathing. But downstairs, the German Shepherd stirred. His ears twitched, his nose flared as he caught something in the air that didn't belong. A faint scent, a subtle shift, something invisible to his owners, yet impossible for him to ignore. He rose from his spot at the foot of the bed, muscles tense, eyes glowing with alertness. The clock ticked past 3 a.m. when he began pacing, his nails clicking softly against the floor. A low growl rumbled in his throat as he glanced toward the baby's room. Still, the parents remained asleep, unaware of the unease growing inside their loyal companion. Finally, the shepherd nudged the nursery door open with his nose and padded inside. He stood over the crib, staring down at the tiny figure wrapped in blankets. For a moment, he hesitated. Then, without warning, he gently gripped the baby's pajama sleeve in his teeth and began pulling. The baby stirred, letting out a faint whimper as the German Shepherd tugged him from the crib. The movement was careful, almost protective, yet to anyone watching, it looked terrifying. The child's small body slid gently onto the floor, and the dog clamped the fabric tighter, dragging him steadily toward the door. Upstairs, the mother awoke first. A soft scraping sound against the hallway floor pulled her from sleep. She rubbed her eyes, confused, until instinct drove her upright. When she peered into the dim hallway, her heart nearly stopped. There, in the shadows, their dog was dragging the baby away. She screamed, jolting her husband awake. Both parents rushed forward in panic, the mother's voice trembling with terror. "Stop! What are you doing?" she cried. The father's feet pounded against the floorboards as he sprinted toward them, convinced the unthinkable was happening, that the dog had turned on their child. But the shepherd didn't pause, didn't glance back. His ears were pinned, his body tense with urgency. Every pull seemed deliberate, as though he were racing against time itself. The parents chased, hearts pounding, fear rising with each step. By the time they reached the doorway, their baby was already in the yard, the German Shepherd's teeth still gripping his sleeve. The cold night air slapped their faces as they burst through the front door. Their hearts thundered with terror, the mother barefoot, the father shouting the dog's name again and again. But the shepherd didn't slow. His massive frame cut across the lawn, the baby's small body bumping gently in his grip as he pulled him further from the house. "Please stop," the mother cried, her voice breaking. Every instinct screamed to snatch her child back. Yet the sight of the shepherd's determined eyes filled her with confusion. This wasn't aggression, it was something else. Still, fear clouded her thoughts. To her, it felt like losing her baby right before her eyes. The father sprinted harder, his throat raw from shouting. Lights flicked on across the street as neighbors peeked from their windows, startled by the commotion. A few stepped onto their porches, whispering in disbelief. "The dog has the baby," one exclaimed. Panic spread quickly, as if the entire neighborhood held its breath. But the shepherd's pace never faltered. He moved with purpose, ears pinned, tail stiff, his grip firm yet careful. Every step carried urgency, as though he was racing against something unseen. The desperate parents had no idea the truth was only moments away, ready to shock them more than anything they had ever imagined. Finally, they caught up, stumbling across the grass, lungs burning. Just as the father reached out to grab the baby, the German Shepherd stopped abruptly and dropped the child gently onto the ground. The dog stood tall, body rigid, eyes locked back toward the house. His chest rose and fell with heavy breaths, ears twitching as though waiting for something. Then the mother noticed it, a faint orange glow flickering in the windows. Within seconds, smoke curled upward, dark and thick, pushing through the cracks in the siding. The acrid smell hit them hard, suffocating. Their house was on fire. The mother gasped, clutching her baby to her chest as the realization struck like lightning. The shepherd hadn't been trying to harm the child, he had been pulling him away from death itself. The father turned, face pale, watching flames lick through the curtains in the nursery they had just left. Neighbors shouted in alarm. Some called emergency services, others grabbed hoses in desperation, but it was clear the fire had already consumed much of the house. The parents' knees went weak as the truth sank in. The dog had known. Long before the alarms, long before smoke reached their room, he had sensed the danger and acted. What looked like betrayal was the most desperate act of loyalty imaginable. And because of him, their baby was alive. Flames burst through the roof with a deafening roar, the fire spreading faster than anyone imagined. The once peaceful home was now an inferno, heat so intense it forced neighbors back. Shouts filled the night as people scrambled with buckets and hoses, desperate to help. The parents clung to their baby, still trembling from shock, but their eyes never left the house they had built together. Memories, laughter, photos, their child's first crib, all swallowed by fire. The father tried to run inside for important belongings, but the shepherd barked ferociously, blocking his path, teeth bared. It was as if the dog was saying, "No. Stay alive." Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. Relief swept through the crowd as firefighters rushed onto the street, hauling hoses and axes. They worked quickly, shouting orders as jets of water battled the flames. Sparks flew into the air, smoke billowed high, and the night sky glowed red. Through it all, the German shepherd never left the baby's side. He stood guard, body pressed close, eyes sharp and vigilant. Even as chaos swirled around them, he refused to move until he was sure the danger had passed. One truth was undeniable: without him, this family would not be standing there alive. By dawn, the fire was finally under control. Smoke lingered in the air, the charred remains of the house smoldering under firefighters' watch. The parents stood in the yard, baby wrapped in a blanket, tears streaking their soot-stained faces. Their world was in ashes, but their child was safe, and that was everything. The German shepherd sat proudly beside them, chest rising and falling, his coat singed with ash, yet his eyes calm. Neighbors gathered in awe. Some wiped tears, others shook their heads in disbelief. "He saved the baby," one woman murmured. "That dog is a hero." The mother knelt, pulling the shepherd close, arms wrapping tightly around his neck. "You didn't just save him," she whispered through tears. "You saved all of us." The dog pressed against her gently, his tail wagging as if he understood every word. Reporters arrived, cameras flashing, and soon the story spread far beyond the town. People everywhere praised the courage of the loyal shepherd who had sensed danger long before anyone else. As the sun rose, the family looked at their dog not as a pet, but as a guardian, a protector, and the reason their baby's heartbeat was still strong. If you were moved by this incredible story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.